Einen wunderschönen guten Morgen nach Österreich, ein herzliches Grüß Gott und schöne Grüße hier aus Asien, aus Neu-Delhi, einen wunderschönen Nachmittag. Mein Name ist Bernd Andersson, ich bin der stellvertretende Wirtschaftsdelegierte hier in Neu-Delhi und es freut mich sehr, dass ich Sie auch wieder zu diesem Webinar von uns, The Future of IT, begrüßen darf. Wie in unserer Future of Webinar-Reihe üblich, haben wir viele lokale Experten auch wieder mit dabei. Das heißt, wir werden das Webinar in englischer Sprache abhalten. A very good morning to Europe and good afternoon here from Asia. My name is Bernd Andersson. I'm the Deputy Trade Commissioner here in New Delhi, and it's a great pleasure to welcome you to our webinar series, The Future of, this time with the episode, The Future of IT, IoT, and ITES. As mentioned a little bit just before, this is a regular series, but today is a very special episode, if you will. It's not just our office here in New Delhi supporting us, but we also bring you expertise from the Philippines with our colleagues from our Manila office providing expertise and an expert speaker. So today should be even more exciting than the usual events. Maybe one step back. Just a quick reminder how we're going to go about it. So after my brief introduction, we're going to have some presentation from expert speakers from both from India as well as from the Philippines. During that time, you may already ask questions either in the chat or in the dedicated question box, and those questions can then be answered during the Q&A session. And then we're going to wrap up as usual with a little outlook on what is to come. Maybe a brief reminder on our work and what we do. What holds true for us here in New Delhi holds just as true for our colleagues in the Philippines. So we're from the Außenwirtschaft Austria, Advantage Austria, as you know it here in the local market. Here our New Delhi office covers not only India, but also Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives. And we also have some local trade offices scattered around, and work together with local expertise in the other countries. India itself is a very important business partner for Austria. It's the third largest trade partner in Asia, and around 700 plus companies do regular business from Austria with India, and we have around 150 subsidiaries. Now, without further ado, let me give the word to my colleague Ajay Singh, who is our local expert on everything regarding innovation, startups, and new technologies, our senior advisor. Ajay, please take it away.
Thank you, Bernd. Thank you very much for the warm introduction. And yes, of course, today we have a special edition of our Future Series webinar. A very warm good morning to the audience in Austria and good afternoon to the ones joining from India and Philippines. Thank you very much for joining this interesting webinar on the topic Future of Information Technology, Internet of Things, and IT-enabled services, and of course the trends and innovation. Today we will discuss future of IT, IoT, ITES, not just in India and in Philippines together, but we are going to also showcase some of the startups, high potential startups in both countries. We will discuss effort and contribution made by the governments, industry, academia, and most successful startups in India and Philippines. Without further ado, I would like to call upon Mr. Sanjay Kohli, who is a senior consultant IT infrastructure from Assam Electronic Development Corporation Limited, AMTRON, to make his keynote on innovation in IT industry. Over to you, Mr. Kohli.
Hey, thank you, Ajay. Good morning to all those people joining from Austria, and good afternoon to people in India and Philippines. And I really want to take this opportunity to thank the Austrian Commission to take this wonderful opportunity for us to make a presentation on IT, ITES, and IoT. Yeah, go on. Next slide. Ajay? Yeah. Okay, so just to give a little brief background about AMTRON. So AMTRON is really Assam Electronics Development Corporation. It's a state government undertaking with 100% share of state. It was founded in 1984. It's around the time when India was really taking off, you know, and internet kind of was coming into the country, and the government in the right earnest actually started this company, you know, to to do the IT, and then slowly we moved on to the ITS and the new technologies. So AMTRON is based in Guwahati, which is in Assam, which is the northeast part of the country, and we are the largest state in a set of 7 states, and everybody looks towards us, to bring in the new technologies. So we are kind of a flag bearer for all the new technologies in the IT space and the innovation in the Northeast. And this is, like I told you, is a 100% government undertaking. We have the backing of the state as well as the central government. Yeah, go on, Ajay, next slide. So our services, as you can easily see, we graduated from Industry 3.0, and like everything has to move and everybody has to innovate. So did we. So AMTRON is now slowly moving into the newer technologies, the Industry 4.0, whether it is drone, whether it is 3D printing, whether it is 5G technology, artificial intelligence, IoT, AR, VR. We are kind of getting into all these spaces because that's what the future is. Yeah, go on, Ajay. Next one. So, like I said, and this is the keynote we are always saying, innovation. So, innovation, I believe, has always been a vital engine for any economic progress. And I don't think IT can be far behind. In fact, today, the industry and everybody is being driven by all the innovation which we are having in IT. And this could be really process. It could be basically, the way we do business. And very simple examples. The way I will talk about business model innovation is just the way how companies are actually, making changes in the way they do business. A very classic example. We always have been dealing with computers, these servers, and the storage network, everything, and everybody is aware of that. But now, what the companies have to really do as part of innovation, they are going towards this infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, storage as a service. Why we are doing all this is because today the customer or the clients do not want to invest on capex. They are more happy, doing the opex. They are just wanting to pay for what they actually consume. So this is a classic example of business model innovation in IT. Ajay, next, go on the next slide. The other 2 examples of innovation, which I think the companies have to look forward, is product development and process improvement. So it can be either the way you do business, it can be the way you actually do the product, or it could be simply the way the process is being, innovation is being done in the process. Very simple example I would like to give on the product. We are all aware of the way iPhone, Apple launched, it kind of innovated. A phone is a phone. Everybody knows what it's going to do, but the way Apple introduced this, it just changed the entire scenario. And similarly, in the process improvement innovation also, we are seeing a lot of companies are actually doing process changes. It's the way you actually go and sell, is the way you actually market your product or distribute your product. No way you can, remain aloof. Innovation is the key. And I would just briefly touch on what are the latest trends in the IT innovation, which we are seeing globally. Quantum computing obviously is one of the emerging technology. And I think it's anticipated by 2029, the worldwide quantum computing sector would generate more than $2.5 billion in revenue. Then we are talking about artificial intelligence, the writer and the apps. I don't think any business or any sector is going to remain away from all this, artificial intelligence. This is the way the life is going to be. This is what the future is. And I think it's the right time. We are all going to invest in this, both technically and commercially. Next slide. Ajay, next one. 3D printing. So 3D printing is something which I will talk a little more once we are done with the next couple of slides, because this is where AMTRON has taken a lead, and we are actually going all guns out, to promote and do a lot of intensive research in 3D printing to make it the future in at least our part of the world. Go on, Ajay. IoT, of course, a lot of people will talk about that. This is again another innovation in the IT field. The future is very bright. It's expected to become a 1.6 trillion market by 2025, and we should have more than 75 billion connected devices worldwide. Uh, and I think this is going to actually give a lot of impetus, not only to technology, but also to newer skill sets. So, like I said, I will spend a little time on 3D, although, like I said, AMTRON is instrumental. They are taking care of all the new technologies, whatever new innovations. But I will spend a little time on the 3D because that's been taken up as a very key project as far as AMTRON is concerned. So what we have done is we have set up a digital design and a 3D printing center in Guwahati. Guwahati is the state capital of Assam, for people who may not be aware. So what we have done is we have set up a center of excellence in collaboration with the academia, and we are also doing a lot of design prototypes, commercial design. The way it is actually being set up is the hub of the project is in Guwahati, which is the state capital, and we have 10 smaller locations feeding into this all across the Northeast. Like I said, there are 7 states in the Northeast, and everybody looks towards Assam as the nodal agency. So we are also doing all these machines which are being set up in the hub, but the spokes are being used for the training and use cases identification. So some of the use cases which we have identified and we have started, Ajay, please be there on that earlier slide. Thanks. So some of the use cases which we have kind of taken up are the Divyang, which is nothing but customized prosthetics, the reconstructive surgery, healthcare, consumer goods, in which we are spending a lot of time and our effort on 3D printing technology in the production of textiles, because this is actually going to give a whole lot of opportunity to create new textiles which could be bulletproof, fireproof, capable of retaining heat. So that's a whole lot of things which I've opened up. Architecture, construction, arts, and heritage are some few of the other use cases which we are working on. So what is the objective? So like I said, AMTRON is nothing but state government. It's a public sector undertaking. So we have a dual role. So we not only have to bring in technology, but we also have to ensure that the people are able to use it. And then we are also able to train the youth. We have to reskill them, because that's very important. How are the youth actually going to make use of this technology? How are the people going to make use of this? So the objectives which we have taken on these newer technologies is we not only do give a platform for people to really work and do innovation and do some kind of designing, but we are also actually trying to groom people to be reskilled and should be able to use this technology for not only their betterment, but for the betterment of the society, and also to bring in a revolution in business sense. Because we believe there is a lot of potential in 3D printing. Unfortunately, our share in the market is negligible, but the target which we have set out ourselves is that we have to really achieve a bigger chunk, keeping in view the direction of the state and the central government in India. So what are the outcomes? Like I said, we have to train and reskill. So our target is to retrain and reskill 3,000 at least youth from the state of Assam, so that they are ready for jobs in these newer scales, industry 4.0 standards, what we are saying. Also, AMTRON is partnering with various technical universities to provide solutions and training on 3D printing under the skill development program. We are also willing to support startups, newer and more innovative applications of digital design and 3D printing technology. Also, like I said, there has to be a little business sense also into this. So what we are trying to see is within 3 years of setting up of this center of excellence, we want to promote local manufacturing of 3D goods and services to be around 500 crores per annum, which is targeted to expand to 1,000 crores by 2028. And the focus areas obviously are going to be healthcare, disability, oil and gas industries, and small and medium entrepreneurs. Some of the other innovation, the newer things which AMTRON is really setting the pace in Assam is setting up the artificial intelligence, typically the face recognition center of excellence. So we are also providing, services, development, R&D, skilling to various government and private bodies. I think that's pretty much it. And thank you. And I'll be happy to take questions at the end of the session.
Thank you, Mr. Kohli. This was a very interesting presentation from the government perspective. As you know, India offers huge opportunities with AI and machine learning. One such use case in background screening is led by Helloverify. Let us learn more on what they are doing in this domain. I would request Mr. Kaustubh Rana, Senior Vice President Helloverify, to make his presentation on machine learning and AI. Over to you, Mr. Rana.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Ajay, and good afternoon to everyone in India, and good morning to others joining us from various parts of the world. I'm Kaustubh Rana, as Mr. Ajay already mentioned. I'm part of Helloverify, which is a background screening company. First of all, just to give a brief introduction about myself, I've worked with a number of companies in India. In fact, a few of the most reputed companies, one of them being Infosys, which is the IT bellwether in India. And then a couple of unicorns, one of them being Paytm, which is the digital or financial innovator in India. Then Pine Labs, which is another unicorn company that is leading the POS or the ETC innovation in India, the card machine innovations in India. And now I'm part of Helloverify, which is one of the largest background screening company in India. On this call, I'm also joined by Mr. Saurabh Jain, who was also till recently part of Helloverify. Now, just to first touch base with the topic as we've been discussing about, AI and ML, as we see, the industry over the years has moved from an industrialization kind of a perspective, then we moved to the technology phase, and now today we are in an innovative phase, wherein a lot of innovation we see every day happening in terms of robotics, in terms of AI, ML, in terms of nanotechnology, so on and so forth. Right now, with the advent of this technology, we see that not just the technological security is required, which is now being provided through a number of different stakeholders, be it in terms of the antiviruses, in terms of people who are managing different kind of security systems and all, but also a requirement is there around people security. And by people security, I mean that whenever, say, suppose we are onboarding someone onto our organization, if, say, suppose some student is joining some organization, if, say, suppose you and me are transacting on a platform, be it an e-commerce platform, a travel portal, so on and so forth, or as a customer, if we are kind of transacting anywhere, these platforms or these different entities also need to be secure. Now, how do we ensure that these are secure? It is not just in terms of the technological aspect, because obviously there are different kinds of, as I mentioned, the antivirus and the security systems or the firewalls that are set up to make the technological side of the business to be secure, but also in terms of the people security that's required, because whoever is onboarding onto the platform, are they verified individuals? Isn't that happening that someone is doing an identity theft, or is it some kind of a fraud that someone can do, or some phishing activity? Someone comes onto a platform and we don't know whether they have some drug history, they have some criminal history, so on and so forth, and we are onboarding them onto any platform, and then over a period of time we realize that either that person conducts the same mischief on our platform, or that leads to a bigger financial or a legal fraud onto the different entities that are present on our platform. So that's where a company like Helloverify comes into the picture, wherein we are not just trying to secure or give a comfort to our clients in terms of providing the right set of individuals onto their platform, but also ensuring that no frauds or no undue circumstances or undue occasions occur onto our clients' platform. And that's how we make all these, as I mentioned, the workplace, the institutions, the platforms, and the customers secure for our clients. With the advent of AI and ML, we've seen that in the last decade, AI and ML has been heavily being used in different industries, be it the auto industry, the IT industry, pharma, diagnostics, banking. And that's how we, as Helloverify, have also adopted the AI and ML technology into our platform, wherein we are not just doing the basic checks for the respective stakeholders, but also ensuring that we get the right set of patterns and the right set of knowledge built or the database built over a period of time. So we are not just doing the screening, but or are also able to predict whether a particular person or a particular stakeholder being onboarded onto any kind of organization or any platform is or would not consider or would not do any mischief over a period of time. Now, this is the first slide, and here is a brief about the company as we've given. As Helloverify, we've already conducted more than 10 million background checks for different organizations. In terms of organizations, we've done these verifications for almost more than 10 different categories, be it IT, ITES, BPO, healthcare, automobiles, retail, hospitality, so on and so forth. The kinds of screening that we do are also multifold. There are more than 150 different checks that we do, and these are bifurcated into almost 10 different categories, be it employment, education, criminal, drugs, so on and so forth. And that's how we have kind of bifurcated the different checks. In terms of the certifications, we are certified through ISO 27001. We are also compliant as per GDPR, as per the US standards of doing screening. And we are also registered with the National Skills Registry. In fact, we are a gold partner with the National Skills Registry in India. We are also an organization that's backed by a few of the marquee venture capitalists or venture funds in India and abroad, like Y Combinator and so on and so forth. Ajay, please move on to the next slide. Yeah. So here we've also mentioned in terms of the reach that we have across the different countries and different industries. In fact, we have successfully done screenings across 120 countries, and we have capabilities to do it in more than 150 countries across the world. And that's how the specialization lies for us. In fact, we have a clientele across USA, Africa, and some Middle East countries as well, apart from dealing with some of the most reputed companies in India, the IT companies, the government organizations like the DigiLocker, government of Uttarakhand, and even the in the embassy segment with the Latvian embassy and the Switzerland embassy. Next slide. Yeah. Now here again we mentioned that what are the major focus areas or the major things on which we are or the major parameters on which we've been focusing, be it in terms of security, privacy, or compliance. As I mentioned that since we are compliant with almost all of the major certifications that are required to do background screening, so we compliance and investment back into technology is one of the major focus areas that's been for us in the last decade of our operations. Privacy is again of paramount importance to us because we deal with clients working in the similar industries. For instance, if I talk about the IT industry or the healthcare industry, we are working with multiple clients in the same industry. So that's where the privacy aspect also comes into the picture, wherein when we are dealing with one client, there is no pilferage that happens with another set of clients in the same industry. And security, as I already mentioned, that our objective is to provide that secure environment or that give that kind of comfort to our clients that yes, whomever they are onboarding is he or she is the right candidate or the right stakeholder to be working with this particular organization. Now, these are some of the problems and the solutions that we've mentioned here. How we've seen the gaps that have happened in the background screening industry. In fact, just to give you another glimpse of what has been the background screening in India. So it's been kind of an unorganized segment, and most of the people say even 2-3 years back, people were not very much bothered about background screening. It was just a good to have kind of an activity, and people were just doing it as a checklist. But now, with the aggressive advent of technology and also the government of India's directive to have a proper background screening mechanism in place, this is now taking the background screening industry as a whole is going to the next level. In fact, I might not be wrong to say that background screening in India today stands at where the payments industry was there in India some say 5 to 7 years back. So now is the time to kind of build this kind of an ecosystem, and we are kind of leading it from the front to do that. Now, these are, as I just mentioned, the empanelments that we have done with the government bodies, how it works. It's the technicalities is what we've explained here. In fact, we have a complete platform, an automated platform that we have built to kind of do any and every kind of check that any organization might require. And it's also a self-learning kind of a platform, as I mentioned, because we are including AI and ML in the day-to-day activities that we are doing. We are learning every day with more number of cases being screened through our system. That's how our system is becoming smarter day by day, and we are able to now, even in a better manner, do the checks and identify the potential frauds that might come up even in the future. So these are again some of the findings that we have mentioned here, how different kinds of checks we are doing and what all different kinds of frauds that we have found. In fact, just to give you a number, out of the 10 million that we have done, we have found approximately 1 lakh of fraud cases is what we have detected till date, and these have led to savings of multi 100 crores of worth of savings for our clients, because these were people who either had say criminal records or had some drug record, or were forging their documents in terms of education, employment, so on and so forth, and they were potential they could have brought potential loss to these respective organizations. So that's how it is. So happy to kind of take any further questions during the Q&A session.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rana. This is indeed interesting for our audience to know about AI use case in India. From background screening with AI and machine learning, now we move to another amazing startup. They provide the power of artificial intelligence to supercharge the manufacturing industry. We have today with us Mr. Annirudh, co-founder SwitchOn. Over to you, Mr. Banerjee.
Hey, thank you so much, Ajay, and a very good morning to all of you joining in from Australia, and afternoon to everyone joining in from India. We at SwitchOn are automating quality inspection for the manufacturing industry, and I am one of the founders. I look at business development and strategy, especially for Europe and US. Talking a little bit about the importance of quality in general. If you can just, yeah. So as you know that quality is a very important factor in a lot of manufacturing applications. So large enterprises do a lot of manufacturing at a mass manufacturing level. What we've seen is that nearly 1 to 2% of that can have different kinds of defects like dents, burrs, etc., that then go out into the market. While most of the manufacturing itself is completely automated right now, inspection is still being done in a either a manual manner or through conventional cameras and so on. So what we are doing with the use of AI is automating the quality inspection completely, such that you can completely have a defect-free product and zero quality defects. While I talk about quality and while I talk about manufacturing, I'm sure a lot of you are aware that conventional cameras have been around for almost a decade. What we have found is that conventional cameras and vision systems have 3 kinds of large issues. The first of which is the fact that to set them up and to train them, it takes a lot of images. You might be aware, conventionally speaking, that AI takes a very large data set to get trained. The second thing is, even after spending so much time in training these systems, the false positives are usually very high. So it's very, very common to see false positive rates of 5 to 10%, which means running such kind of systems becomes very wasteful, very, very expensive for most of the manufacturers. The third problem is that most of the current generation of inspection systems are hardware systems. So even to get like an analytics at a plant level or a country level or a geography level, there's a lot of hoops that people need to go through to make that happen, right? Which is why even after cameras being around for nearly a decade, still 95% of the manufacturing lines have manual inspection, manual online quality check people. And this is what we at SwitchOn are looking to change. What we have built is basically a very unique kind of unsupervised AI model that gets trained with as less as 200 images and is able to give nearly 99.9% plus kind of accuracies. This model gets trained within about 45 minutes. So you are up and running with the system as well as with the inspection within a day. And, gives false positive rates of less than 0.5%, which is nearly an order of magnitude higher than what is currently available out in the market. The deep inspect system comes out the box with centralized analytics from where you can not just automate the inspection itself, but you can actually automate the entire quality reporting to have an end-to-end automated quality process in your manufacturing plants. Our vision is to enable manufacturing companies reach zero defects and zero customer complaints. And here's how we are looking to do it. So to start with the surface inspection and the automation of the inspection itself, to introduce then a degree of traceability in automatically being able to figure out the batch codes, date codes, etc. of manufactured products, and then to pull all of this together in a centralized integrated reporting such that you can have the defect reports, defect paretos, etc., all with a few button clicks instead of going through Excel sheets and manual reporting, etc., which is very common in the current generation of manufacturing plants. We are working with a lot of large customers in India and Europe and US right now. I'm sure that a lot of these names are logos that you can recognize. We work with automotive and consumer goods majorly. In automotive, we work with large companies like Tata, Bajaj, SKF, etc. We also work in consumer goods with large companies like Unilever, P&G, Diageo, etc. We have installations across 29 plus sites right now, all across India, Europe, and US. We also have system integrators and channel partners spread across India, Europe, and US, and we work with large companies like Tech Mahindra, Cantrell, etc. In terms of deploying our systems and in terms of being able to service this across multiple geographies. We obviously recently raised our Series A round as well. We raised about $4 million. And, that allows us the capacity to be able to support you across the globe, across Europe. And here's kind of how the product works. So it's really very, very simple. So we have a training platform called Deep Inspect Train, where you can use just the good images, no defects at all, to train the product. And from there, we deploy this system completely on the edge. So there's no requirement of any kind of internet or platform connectivity, etc. This AI runs on the edge in your premises, giving you a complete security, in terms of critical deployments like this. Here's an example of a bearing inspection that we are doing for SKF, where we are trying to figure out defects as small as 150 micron. 150 micron is the thickness of your hair, by the way. We do this. We can do this at up to 800 parts per minute kind of speed, and at up to a 99.9% plus kind of accuracy. Here's some of the other applications that we work with. We work with different kinds of object detection, presence absence use case. So every kind of conventional system, conventional inspection is obviously something that we can do, but we can also do, any kind of complex 360-degree inspection, or different kinds of surface defects like dents, burrs, scratches, etc. in different kinds of machined, stamped, super finished products. We also integrate with 6-axis robots to give you an inspection of large door panels, anything from 1650 by 1100 mm to something from 20 cross 20 mm is something that we can support with this system. We run a lot of applications with consumer goods as well. Here you can see a variety of products in glass industry, in HDP, LDP bottle industry, packaging industry, soap bars, toothbrushes, cigarettes, etc., etc. And we also have a bunch of applications in pharma where we are doing the inspection of anything from tablets and capsules to different kinds of syrup caps, bottles, of course, and so on and so forth. Here's basically, we also can introduce character verification and read out characters that are printed. We can do it at up to 600 parts per minute for special characters, dot matrix, different kinds of metal on metal inspection. These are all extremely complex inspection that was otherwise not possible without the use of AI. And we've been able to stabilize this to up to a 0.9% kind of false positive rate, which is an industry standard at present. Right. And we obviously provide a real-time in-plant data of the number of good, the number of defects, rejection ratio, etc. Everything that would be important to you at a plant level. But not just that, you can, through the Deep Inspect Cloud platform, you can actually see your entire lines, multiple plants in real time, and see how rejection ratios are changing, what is online, what is not, what kind of rejection rates are you seeing, and so on and so forth. And obviously you can control all of this centrally as well. And these are some of the reports that we provide, so you can actually not just see at a trend level what kind of defects, etc., are happening, but at an individual product level.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Banerjee, 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Thank you so much. I'm nearly done. Yeah. Yeah, so I think, and this is the kind of value that we typically provide. So we are able to drastically reduce the number of product recalls to 0. We're able to drastically decrease the wastage in the supply chain that is typically caused by defective products. And we are able to reduce the quality costs that are typically incurred in manual inspection to bring them down by anywhere from 30 to 50%, right? And all of this at nearly 30% less cost than anything that is available out in the market right now. So yeah, this is the founding team. So me and Avro come both from manufacturing and technology backgrounds. Earlier to SwitchOn, I was one of the founding architects of the NVIDIA self-driving car platform. I have a lot of background, obviously, in computer vision and AI, and had the opportunity to look at manufacturing, especially automotive manufacturing, in a lot of depth. I'm joined by Avro, who also has a very deep product and technology background. And that's it. That's a little bit about SwitchOn, and we are looking forward to automate quality inspection in a bunch of European factories.
Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. And as we promised, now we move to Philippines. I request my colleague JoAnne, I can see you already, Commercial Officer at Advantage Austria Manila, to take over from here. Over to you.
Thank you, Ajay. On behalf of Christina Stieber, who is in Austria for the export tag, I am JoAnne Tolentino from Manila. So the Philippines has a lot of catching up to India after ranking 59th in the 2023 edition of the Global Startup Ecosystem Index by Research Center Startup Blink. But there are also a lot of positive developments recently. Based on the report by the Global Innovation Index by the World Intellectual Property Organization, the Philippines is one of the fastest innovation catch-up to date among middle-income countries, scoring best on the innovation pillars of business sophistication and knowledge and technology output. In a way, the COVID pandemic lockdowns have forced Filipino consumers online in a massive way. Our digital economy doubled from $8 billion in 2019 to $16 billion in 2021 and is projected to grow to $35 by 2025. Over the past 2 years, a record amount of capital was invested into Philippine startups, with funds raised by Philippine startups exceeding the $1 billion mark in 2022 for the second year in a row, with the majority flowing into e-commerce and fintech. There's immense potential for growth, and it's passionate tech people like Edison, Tsai that contribute to the success and vibrancy of the Philippine startup ecosystem. Edison is the executive director of SeedIn Technology Inc., which recently won an award as the most innovative P2P lending platform from the Global Economics. Their mission is to link businesses and investors so that businesses can access alternative sources of financing and investors can diversify their investment portfolios. Without any further delay, please welcome Edison.
Hello and good morning in Austria, and good afternoon to everyone. My name is Edison Tsai. I run SeedIn Technology, which is a crowdfunding platform based in Southeast Asia. We're currently based in 4 countries, including Singapore, Taiwan, Philippines, and Cambodia. So what does SeedIn address? One of the main areas that SeedIn is addressing is the SME financing gap, which is a global phenomenon that most of the SMEs are facing due to the lack of access of credit, as well as financing needs for their working capital. So in the Philippines, it is no exception. We are estimated at a $4 billion financing gap. And whole Asia Pacific comprise of about 45% of the global $4.75 trillion SME financing gap. So a lot of times companies, they come to us for crowdsourcing and for financing needs, including working capital, operating expenses, marketing, sales, expansion of their business, their improvement in logistics, inventory, debt consolidation, even economic downturns and the pandemic. So since we are in the post-pandemic stage, a lot of businesses are trying to bounce back. But during the pandemic, of course, a lot of businesses were affected by the lost revenue, lost sales, and also the lack of financial assistance from government and private institutions. So the solution that we provide is a mobile and web-based P2B, person-to-business financing platform, where local businesses in the countries that we operate, they can crowdsource from our network of investors around the world. So we have investors from over 80 countries, including Austria and India as well, that are funding businesses in the countries that we operate in. So we are one of the largest Southeast Asia business financing platform. We have funded thousands of SMEs across the region, amounting to over $250 million in SMEs since 2013. So a little bit on crowd lending. It is a form of crowdfunding that is focused on debt financing. So unlike centralized financing, where you have banks and financing institutions, lending companies, we democratize lending through our crowdfunding platform by allowing or giving sovereignty to individual investors and institutional investors to lend to these businesses. So one of the key areas is that since it's fully digital, we are able to decentralize, democratize financing to extend help to companies that are in need, and then especially in the countries that where access to credit is very difficult. So we are a regulated crowdfunding portal under the Singapore's MAS license for capital market service. And in the Philippines, we are also under the crowdfunding license of the Securities and Exchange Commission of the Philippines. We have investors from around the world. So to help these businesses, we crowdsource from our network of investors from over 80 countries, from North, South, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia, and Oceania, funding companies in various industries, including trading, financing, real estate, IT, retail, marketing, e-commerce, health wellness, renewables, and BPO. So our model is very simple. We have a fund platform that allows, on the left side, you have the SME borrowers or SME owners that are our borrowers that go through our due diligence process. So our platform assess the creditworthiness or financial capacity of the business, give them a credit score, and that credit score is a basis for the loan structure that we offer to our investors on the right side. So our investors, wherever they are able to fund a business for as low as approximately $20 US, and they'll be able to fund and lend to these businesses. We offer interest rates of anywhere between 7 to 15% per annum per project. So it's average of about 0.5 to 1% per month of interest returns. So our investors are able to help these businesses at the same time get an ROI of interest being lent to these businesses at about approximately 0.5 to 1% per month. And we have funded projects from Singapore, Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia, and Cambodia. So some of our partner institutions include the local universal banks, government institutions, and we also work with insurance companies to provide free insurance for our investors. We're also accredited with the fintech organizations, as well as holding patents in Taiwan. And we also work with credit bureaus to provide the credit score for our SMEs. We are also linked to mobile wallet partners to provide ease of access in fund transfer. So our app is linked to all the major banks and e-wallet providers to provide a frictionless money transfer as well as withdrawals to and fro from our mobile app. So our mission is very simple. It's Filipinos for the success of Filipino SMEs around the world. We are also helping women entrepreneurs by lowering our interest rates. So we have worked with banks and financing institutions to bring the interest rates down for women-led investors or borrowers to as low as 50%. So some of the features of a good crowd lending platform includes interest rate returns. We make sure that it is in inflation beating because we want to make sure that the passive income that is generated on our platform is preserve their capital of the investors. It provides also liquidity in the form of monthly equal or interest payments per month. It is also secured. The loans are secured through secured financing and with collateral. Duration for 1 to 12 months, compliant with banking and government regulations, and an end-to-end process from due diligence, facilitation, collection, disbursement, all the way to liquidation. So we go the extra mile. The company ensures quality projects that are put on our platform, the collection, disbursement, and liquidation as well. All right, so our due diligence process includes a credit scoring that the SME goes through so that at the end of the due diligence, we are able to come up with the credit score for them. We abide by the S&P Global rating. So the SMEs or small to medium enterprise actually gets credit scored by us and be recognized on the financial map. This will help them gain access to future financial and credit lines from other institutions. All right, so this is the credit scoring sample that we have shown that I have discussed earlier. And some of our projects in Southeast Asia include Apple distribution centers, F&B, interior design, hotels, and in Cambodia, Singapore data center, technology companies, and supermarkets. So the loans are ranging anywhere from 200 to 1.6 million US for the reasons, whether it be working capital, expansion, inventory, and the interest rate of about 6.6 to 9.3%. In the Philippines, we have also funded various industries, including retail, FMCG, trading, real estate, and even IT or blockchain-based companies. So the industries, we're agnostic to the industry. The importance is we make sure that your firm is accredited, assessed, and due diligence to come up with a proper credit score. As an investor, you can download our app. It takes just minutes to sign up, and it is available on both Google and App Store. So it will just take minutes for you to sign up and register and begin your investment journey with us. For an SME, you can also register on our mobile app as well. So happy to entertain any questions during our panel discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the inspiring presentations from our startups. I now call on Ajay for the Q&A.
Thank you very much. Thank you, JoAnne. Thank you, Edison. And now the interesting time where I would ask all the speakers to please come online. Please turn on your camera and microphone. Okay, this is a one-on-one question to Mr. Rana from TUB Austria, who is a certification body for 27001. In case you have interest to cooperate with us in India, you can contact. Okay, so this is an invitation to contact or work on this ISO to 27001. Okay, so the topic, the future of IT, IoT, and ITES, and what do you think? I think I can start with Edison. What do you think the future of IT and ITES, of course, and your contribution and the market? How do you look at it? What is the future?
Thank you, Ajay, for the question. Definitely, there are a lot of disruptive technologies from AI to machine learning, and of course, there's also a fear factor that people think that that AI might take over the world. So I think it's a double-edged thing. You know, when we utilize, let's say, for example, AI-enabled credit scoring or EKYC, and as data becomes more and more important in today's world, and the question goes, where does it go, right? And one thing I think that is important is to discuss is it's about the ownership of data. So we have talked about implementing technologies like blockchain to enable what we call data sovereignty, meaning you own the data, you own your own data, but you allow access partially or wholly to certain entities. For example, if a lending company wants to access your credit score, it will be under your permission to provide that. You know, so we feel that the future of where data and IT or IT-enabled services is going will be, one, on the data sovereignty, and two, on the decentralization, which is in line with data sovereignty, because a lot of times we also see that there's a more and more decentralization of things, right? So whether it's in blockchain or NFT or decentralized finance, we are seeing the trend on that. And I think that is really where we're going, wherein with the help of technology, we're giving more and more power back to the people, which is what SeedIn is also doing by decentralizing finance rather than centralizing monies in one place. We are decentralizing it. So I think that's one of the aspects that we can consider for the future.
Really interesting to hear on the decentralization part of it. And of course, now India, Philippines, or Austria, we are part of this enormous world, and which is really connected with data. And that's how we are able to do this webinar today, right now. So data, of course, plays an interesting role. What is your take on that, Mr. Kohli, on the future of IT in India, especially, and overall as well?
Hey, yeah, Ajay. So yeah, I mean, like I said, innovation and trend, I mean, you have to keep growing. You know, you just cannot live with the industry 3.0. We have to move towards industry 4.0. And there is a fear, like Edison was saying, people are a little worried. Okay, I mean, this will take away jobs, or this will, you know, not give opportunities. But we are thinking otherwise. All new technologies you're going to adopt, and obviously you have to. I mean, there is no stopping that, whether we like it or not. So we have to really reskill. I mean, this is what we are all here about. We have to reskill and make sure that all our future generation and the youth can actually, you know, make use of those opportunities. So we are taking like that. I mean, that's our take on this, that we have to grow with the new technologies. We have to live with that, and we have to create opportunities out of that. And the opportunities are plenty, I can tell you. I mean, we are already seeing a lot of impetus on reskilling. That's where I think we are going.
Yep. Perfect. And I see Mr. Kaustubh Rana from Paytm, from Pine Labs, and now in this new incredible venture now. And you are a technocrat as well as a good entrepreneur. I see a lot of technological advancement from your side and from the different segment of the industry. What do you think is the next challenge and opportunity for in terms of innovation, or let's say information technology?
Right. Thanks, Ajay. See, first of all, if I'm correct, there was a time when the computers were new in the market. There was again this kind of a fear that oh, once computers will come, then they might take away a lot of jobs and all. But here we are. See, it has brought so much of advancement in the world, and now there are so many new opportunities which were not present, say, 20, 30, 40 years back when the computers were introduced for the first time, or smartphones were introduced for the first time, right? So even with the advent of newer technology, be it AI, ML, it might be robotics, it might be, say, a chat GPT kind of a thing coming into the picture, it will not take away jobs. And as Mr. Sanjay Kohli rightly mentioned, we have to reskill, or if I may say, we have to rejuvenate ourselves, or we have to rediscover ourselves, right? These are the 3 R's which I think we should be kind of focusing on. And once we focus on them, then the sky is the limit, right? We reach to from the stone age to the industrial age to the technology age, and now we are in the innovation age, as I was just mentioning. So this is only happening because we have been consistently introspecting, retrospecting, and innovating ourselves, right, over a period of time. So technology doesn't take away the jobs; it just changes the form in which you are looking at the opportunity, right? And the right set of people will always look at it as an opportunity. Of course, whenever a new thing comes up, there would be certain jobs that might become redundant. That will happen. But then that same set of people, bases the requirement of the market, bases the need of the day, once they reskill themselves, again there will be a lot of opportunity, right? And that's what I've also seen in the various segments that I have worked, be it the fintech segment or the background screening that I'm here currently. A lot of innovation is happening, and none of the innovation is hindering anyone's development or anyone's growth. It does help all of us.
I think it's what you mean is a collaborative effort, and there would be always a challenge and also accompanying with the opportunity part of it. So we can always see from our perspective what either we see it as a challenge or the opportunity, like this chat GPT right now is, and blockchain 3 years back, and crypto before that. So things can definitely take shape. What do you think, Mr. Banerjee, on the future of IT, IoT, ITES in India and overall?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think definitely AI is front and center with respect to the future of IT and ITES. I'm sure that, with the advent of large language models, etc., a lot of the people are already starting to see impact in their in their deal cycles and so on. I'm not sure whether you're aware, but Accenture just announced that they have won already $100 million US contracts on chat Gen AI projects alone, right? So that's a huge number, right? And all of that has happened within 4 months. So it's enormous. I think the level of change that is happening has already happened. But what is more impressive to me is how quickly these kind of technologies are being adopted. I think if you see, there's been nearly a new large language model every 2 weeks in the first quarter, right? And there's been, newer and newer interesting use cases that are being, and projects that are being funded right from the idea stage, and some of them even breaking out to the growth stages, right? So I think AI will define a lot of the future of IT and ITES. And I think the people who are going to be able to adopt this quickly and well are going to be the winners in this race, honestly.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. I think there's a balance between evolvement and also the involvement of technology. For Edison, so we will skip a few questions in order to save some time. Opportunities for the Austrian companies with your organization. Is there any room? How can Austrian company can work with your organization? If they, what do you offer?
Yes, Ajay. So, we work with both SMEs on one side as the borrowers, and on the other side, we have our investors from around the world acting as the lenders to these businesses. So for the SMEs, we usually fund those companies that are within the countries that we operate. So if, let's say, if in the future that the SeedIn does have an Austria branch or an India branch, then we'll be happy to take on and help these small to medium businesses in the countries that we operate. On the other hand, as an investor, the advantage is that geographically you can invest from anywhere because we are a digital platform. And there's only certain KYC and AML standards that we need to abide. So usually, for the investors, they will require a local bank or e-wallet account. So for, let's say, for Austrians or Indians who are already staying in the Philippines with a bank or e-wallet account, then we welcome them to be our investors. And also for the overseas Filipino workers in India or Austria that are looking to invest and diversify their investments, definitely we also welcome them to join the platform in helping local businesses.
Oh, perfect. Annirudh, the same goes to you. What opportunities Austrian companies can expect from your organization?
Yeah, absolutely, Ajay. Thank you so much for the question. Of course, I think there are two kinds of ways of working. So one is obviously from a manufacturing standpoint. If any of the manufacturing companies are here, definitely we can work with them in terms of implementing our quality inspection systems in their premises. We are already working with a bunch of European customers all across Germany, Netherlands, and Prague, and we are looking very much forward to working with Austrian companies in that manner. We are also expanding from a technology side. We are doing a lot of development in computer vision AI, right? So if any of the companies are working on vision AI kind of applications, would love to see if there is any kind of synergy from there.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Kohli, you mentioned incubation and center of excellence for startups. Is there opportunity for Austrian companies?
Oh, absolutely. So like Ajay, not just the center of excellence, we have also now built a 100-acre tech city. So that's open for anybody to come and collaborate, set up, and we are ready to move in kind of offices also available. And we are more than happy to even collaborate. It's not just offering space and all the prerequisites, but also our services and our investment as well.
Oh, perfect. That's the full package for the deal. Yes. Mr. Rana, you were already working with few of the embassies here. I noticed a few of the European embassies as well. What is the opportunity you offer for the Austrian companies?
See, it can be a two-pronged approach, wherein one, obviously, a lot of Austrian companies are seeing potential in India and doing investments or kind of opening up India offices, and hence they would want to hire the right skill of right set of employees as well as stakeholders in terms of vendors and other partners. That is where we can help them. And second thing is also in terms of partnering with them for overseas opportunities, wherein, say, suppose they intend to expand out of Austria to other European countries, to Africa, to Europe, or to USA, so on and so forth. That is again where we can partner with them and help them with the right set of stakeholders to be onboarded onto the platform. See, as I mentioned, that the kind of activity that we are doing, we are not providing any profit to the organizations that we are working on, but we are saving a lot of losses for the organizations that we are working with, and hence that's the major USP that lies with us.
Okay, that's a good take on that. Okay, so now we are moving to conclude the webinar, and I would take the note on after the discussion. I would say the future looks interesting, promising, and as I remember once somebody told me the computers are not going to take job. People who are good at using computer may take the job from others. So we have few gentlemen here leading the initiative. Over to JoAnne and Bernd to conclude the webinar.
Sure. Well, thanks to all the speakers, particular thanks to Edison and to JoAnne to join us in this episode of The Future Of. The one message you can take away from our side as the Austrian Trade Commission, the AußenwirtschaftsCenter in New Delhi, and also our colleagues in Manila, are very happy to help you, the Austrian businesses, in any form of enterprise or need you may have in our markets, whether it's finding business partners, finding sourcing opportunities, or any form of innovation cooperation. We'd be more than happy to join you there. Ajay, there's a few events as well happening in the future. If you move the slide ahead. So we'll continue with our webinar series, the future of data protection, also quite the timely topic linked to what we've been talking about today. And there's also going to be some trade delegations that are going to take place here in India from Austria. You may find them on our website if you're interested. So once again, thanks to everybody for joining, and should any questions arise, please feel free to reach out at any time. Until then, all the best. Have a good rest of the day. Eid Mubarak here from New Delhi, as today is a local holiday. And all the best to Austria, to the Philippines, and to India. Goodbye.